one left. Okay, now back to that stopping power we teased you with before the brake. We've got a full brake for each corner set up from Federated. Now I'm going to do a no-no, and that's dangle the caliper from the hose. Now why is because we're going to replace the hose, the caliper, the pads, and the rotors. Now the reason you don't want to dangle that from the hose, this is a quality hose from Wagner. Now inside here is a liner, and that's holding a lot of that pressure. Now this is sort of an outer casing. It's part of the construction, but it's not holding all that pressure by itself. And just because the outside looks good, if you pull on it, you could tear the inside and have some big brake problems. So we're going to put a new hose on, along with calipers. We'll leave that guy dangling there. Now this is the other side. It's a really nice piece. Twin piston, really lightweight, aluminum construction. Let's look inside. A lot of times we just see the outside of a caliper, but we don't know how it works. So I'm going to put some pads back in here. I'll slide a rag in, and I've drained it first. So let's get some shop air, and there we go. All right, a little bit more. Pow! That's right. Okay, so we got one of these out. Now, first thing you'll see here, we got a piston and a dust seal. Now this guy, pretty much just to keep dirt and grit from scoring the side of this piston. Now if you look, just a little teacup, boop, boop. Nothing really special in there. Obviously there's some, performance there on the surface, the finishes, anti-corrosion. But if we look inside, it's just a round bore. So it's just fluid pressure pushing on a round piston with a seal on it. But the seal is really what's critical. Let's see if we can get one of these guys out of here. There we go. Okay, voila. Again, nothing magical, but actually there is some detail in here. Now this piston has a seal sitting on here. This is a square cut seal. Now, when you put pressure on here, it actually folds that seal back, against the bore of this caliper. And that folding back, when you let go of your pedal, pulls the piston back in. So it's actually retracting or allowing the pad to come away from that rotor. If that seal starts to get fatigued, that pad's just going to ride on that rotor and wear out your pads prematurely. So a lot of you guys have done a brake job. You've looked, you haven't seen any leaking on your seal, and you thought, okay, caliper's good, put on a new rotor, put on a new pad. And then your pad wears out prematurely, and you think, maybe I got a cheap pad. A lot of times it might be internal in the caliper. So we're going to replace ours. Let me go and start pulling off some of this other stuff. Might need to grab a hammer, knock this rotor off. I can start the build. All right, our old rotor and our new Wagner rotor. Now some of the things to look for when you're buying a new rotor is a lot of companies can try to save some money and they'll thin out the material. They might actually leave out some of these vanes or space them farther apart, so you can kind of compare the two and make sure that you've got the same mass, because that mass is what's absorbing that heat on a brake. So if you start thinning it out, you can start cracking, warping a whole lot more premature. So there's a couple other features, surface finish, run out on the machining. Those are all quality things to look for in a rotor. And this one, unfortunately, is curved forward. And you might think it's scooping the air as it goes around, but it's really want to be trailing. So this rotor is actually from the other side. Somebody put it on backwards. You're really pulling air in from the inside. The blades sweep backwards. The air flies out to keep the rotor cool. Something you want to look for when you put your rotors on. Now, let me get this cleaned up. I can start rebuilding even further. Federated carries UCX calipers. It's a quality reman right to factory specs. But what we did, we went through XRC. It's the same caliper, but online you get to pick out all these different colors so they're powder coated, they look sharp, a lot better than the old dingy dirty ones. Now you can get them loaded and unloaded. Now we got ours loaded. So it's already got the pad in them, it's already pre-lubed, and we've got the Federated SST pad. It's all the technology from Wagner baked right in. Now these are a ceramic. Ceramic have a great smooth linear coefficient of friction. They also don't make all that brake dust all over your wheels. So it's a really nice pad to start with. Some of the features you want to look for in a pad: good quality backing plate, nice fit, so they slide real well within the caliper itself. These have a damped layer on the back, a damped shim, so it quiets down a lot of that noise, as well as the chamfers in the slots. So some of the things to look for. Now what I did, I went ahead and assembled my hose. It's all nice and tight, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt it up here on my rotor, and I'll slide a couple of bolts in. So all I've got to do is break my old line, pop this new guy on real quick so I don't make a big mess. So let me get these guys run in here, swap my hose.